Hey guys, let's get more news about Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Benching key starter could help, but it won't solve the Miami Heat's problems. Opening up the Miami Heat mailbag with this question from Malachi. Why is Terry playing in these closing lineups? He's been terrible this season. Terry Rozier has, by most measures, been terrible this season. He's averaging 13.6 points on 36.5% shooting, all career lows since becoming a full-time starter, with a SOSO 2.1/1 assist-to-turnover ratio. While he's shooting a respectable 36.5% from deep, it gets ugly when he gets closer to the rim. Rozier is missing half of his shots within 5 feet of the basket and is 2 for 15 on non-restricted area shots in the paint. These numbers should get better over time, but his career average at the rim isn't stunning, 58.3% at the rim for his career, according to Basketball Reference. Where Rozier would normally see a big bump is in his mid-range numbers, going from 13% to something closer to his typical 40 to 45% would boost all of his averages and percentages. The problem with that hypothesis is that the Heat have been working the mid-range shot out of the team's shot diet. By trying to build a more efficient offense, coach Erik Spoelstra took Rozier's bread and butter off the menu. That means Rozier will be mostly limited to shots at the rim and beyond the arc. To his credit, Rozier has bought in. He's taking by far the fewest amount of mid-range shots of his career this season while shooting a greater rate of his shots from three-point range, 52%. That's good. But drill down again, and even those looks from the efficient spots on the floor aren't all that efficient. Rozier is taking just 2.5 catch-and-shoot attempts per game compared to pulling up 5.2 times per game. Rozier is a very capable shooter off the catch, cashing in on 48% of those shots this season. But left to create his own shot, he's shooting just 28.8% on pull-ups. Again, that should get better with time. Rozier has actually been a better pull-up shooter, about 40%, than off the catch for his career. But most of those pull-ups were taken in the mid-range, which, again, are being excised out of the offense. So where does that leave Rozier? He could embrace more of a catch-and-shoot role, but Tyler Herro has already done that. Somebody has to be on the ball. And Herro has benefited a lot from Rozier driving and kicking to him on the perimeter. Rozier is tied with Bam Adebayo with a team-high 14 assists to Herro this season, double the next teammate. Perhaps that can become Bam's job. With Adebayo struggling to find his spots in the offense, tilting his game into being more of a facilitator could be his way of making a greater impact. Could Bam be the Draymond Green to Herro's Steph Curry? If he can, that would facilitate Rozier's move to the bench, where he can be more free to create the kind of shots he's comfortable with. Spoelstra might be reluctant to do that. It's only been 10 games, and Rozier's shooting has been uncharacteristically bad. If he wants to wait for Rozier's numbers to level out, that would be more than understandable. But how much longer can he wait? Rozier's preseason flashes on defense haven't carried over into the regular season. B-Ball Index gives him a D grade in their catch-all D-LeBron defensive metric. It all works out to a pretty inefficient two-way player. The problem is that Miami might not have a better option. Benching Rozier could help, but he still needs to play better. Major Giannis Antetokounmpo trade update amid Miami Heat rumors. The possibility of a Miami Heat trade has become a subject of growing speculation following a disappointing 4-6 start to the season. Their most recent result was 123-121 loss against the Detroit Pistons, which was mostly their own doing after leading by 2 points with a second left on the clock. Rumors surrounding a potential move for Giannis Antetokounmpo have dominated the conversation in recent weeks. However, coming up with a trade package for Giannis would not be simple for the Heat, and they would need to make significant changes to their roster. On the other hand, the Milwaukee Bucks seem to be in a world of trouble following a disheartening 4-8 start to the season, leaving them near the bottom of the standings. The Bucks' trade for Damian Lillard has yet to result in a significant upturn in the team's fortunes. That has led to uncertainty surrounding the future of Giannis, who is in the prime of his career and surely would not want to spend it in Milwaukee if they can't give him a chance to compete. Despite the speculation around his future, it is Giannis who will have to push for a trade if he wants to leave, as the Bucks do not seem to have any such plans. According to Zach Bahar on Bleacher Report, NBA insider Mark Stein wrote on Sunday, "It is understood quite clearly in 29 other front offices that Antetokounmpo is only ever going to be made available for trade if he pushes for it." In the early part of the season, Giannis has continued to perform at an elite level. He scored 59 points against the Detroit Pistons in his most recent outing to help the Bucks to victory. As a team, they do not seem capable of competing with the truly best teams in the NBA right now though, as evident by back-to-back first-round eliminations from the playoffs in recent years. Could that open the door to an eventual trade to Miami? Time shall tell. Also, would such a trade make sense for the Heat, considering how much they might have to give up? NBA Insider weighs in on the Miami Heat's trade plans for the coming months. The Miami Heat may need to shake up parts of their roster to compete for an NBA championship, but it appears the front office is not acting hastily. The Heat have a 4-6 record, placing them on a similar trajectory to previous seasons with a play-in tournament appearance. If that same outcome seems imminent by January, then the Heat should understandably look in one of two major directions. Either trade veteran star Jimmy Butler to begin retooling the roster, or add win-now pieces in hopes of vaulting themselves back into title contention. Regardless of their route, ESPN and NBA insider Tim Bontemps is confident the Heat will take their time in the process. Miami came into the season with lots of questions about its future. After a middling start to the season, including Jimmy Butler going down with an ankle injury, those questions remain, Bontemps wrote. Given the extraordinarily forgiving nature of the East, don't expect Miami to make any early moves. Entering the season, the Heat wanted to see how their roster would look and then evaluate from there. That thought process hasn't changed. Team president Pat Riley doesn't play favorites, meaning he's not afraid to part ways with a single player on the roster. This, in a unique sense, gives the Heat much more freedom than teams with untouchable stars. The next few months could very well determine the Heat's success for the next 5 years. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Jimmy Butler? Leave your opinion in the comments.